After beating Michel Rivera in a WBA eliminator, Frank Martin is ready to step up and challenge for world titles. In Las Vegas, the lightweight pair to a unanimous points decision in Martin's favor. He had also knocked Rivera down in the 7th round. Join us as we plot Martin's way ahead and also take a look at the harsh reality check he was confronted with. Stay with us. First up, Martin's thoughts after the fight. He said he felt good on the night. He did notice a few things he failed to capitalize on, but in the end, he got the job done. He says his corner kept on telling him to stay on the outside and to watch Rivera's right hand, and of course, to keep working on the game plan. He added he was working his legs all the time, but he could probably have done more, and while it worked for him on the night, there is lots of room for improvement. That will now be a part of his training regime. At 27, the American was undoubtedly the better fighter, and this victory opened the doors for a WBA belt challenge. The current undisputed champ is Devin Haney at 135 pounds. Martin also said it was always a blessing to be in the gym with Charlo Jermell and Errol Spence. They keep him going. He keeps on watching Errol's sparring and always asks questions that could improve his own abilities. Martin could possibly be ordered to step into the ring against Haney, but persistent rumors say that he'll go up against Ukrainian Vasily Lomachenko, the former unified champion. Martin says he believes in the team and himself. They're doing consistent work to improve, and both he and the team have a clear vision of the future. Above all, he says they're ready for any of the top fighters. In his words, they're ready to eat. Brian Custer, the Showtime Championship boxing host, had a lot to say both before and after the fight. Stay with us. We'll bring you his comments in a moment. Now, a fight against Muhammad Ali lookalike created fireworks and a breakout star. One of America's best boxers, Errol Spence Jr., inconspicuously arrived at the Cosmopolitan Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. He wasn't there to get into the ring, he was there to promote, and he was behind his protege, Frank Martin, all the way. Martin and Rivera are both rising stars, and both of them have the potential to enter 2023 with a loud bang. Sure, Rivera has to rebuild after his loss to Martin, but that's a task every fighter takes when he steps into the ring. Martin said in an interview with Insider that the fight got his name out there, and that his performance against Rivera was a huge statement. He trained under elite coach Derek James and alongside the unified welterweight world boxing champ Spence, and he says this has had incredible benefits. Spence is apparently completely hands-on with Martin. He guides him with conditioning, strength, and nutrition, and gives Martin extra motivation and that extra push to keep him going. Meanwhile, Rivera has been telling people he is the reincarnation of Muhammad Ali, and we have to say there are moments when the likeness is uncanny. Rivera has great skills and he's capable of going the distance, as he proved again against Martin. In 2018, when Rivera was only 20, people started making comments about his similarities to Muhammad Ali, and from there the nickname developed over time. TV channels picked it up, and this helped to catapult his name into the domain of boxing fame. He was hoping to break through with the Martin fight. It would have made him the first boxer to hand a loss to Martin. Before the fight, he said he knew Martin had great abilities and that he was a fantastic boxer, and Martin doesn't lack in the confidence department either. But, said Rivera, he also believed it was his time, and he did everything possible to win the fight. Derek James, Martin's coach, however, says Team Martin is completely unfazed by the Rivera nickname. He calls it a gimmick, saying if Rivera was actually related to Ali, like being his grandson, it would have been different. But now it's just a publicity stunt. Also, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing weighs in. Brian Custer, the Showtime Championship Boxing host, said that Rivera versus Martin bout carried a lot of intrigues because both athletes could have easily chosen to shirk the bout. Usually, he says, when you train and develop a prospect, the aim is to build a fighter until he gets a shot at the world title. Pitting Martin against Rivera with both fighters having equally as much to lose was an intriguing choice, and it paid off for Martin. Going into the fight, they were both unbeaten. Each one wanted a shot at the title, and they both have enormous power. Custer added that Martin is now about to break out of boxing and into the stream of consciousness of sports fans in the mainstream. He added that the lightweight division is deeper than it's been for years, and people are really noticing Martin now. As far as pure athleticism is concerned, Martin is superior to most. He played football and wrestled. Only one needs to to look at his body to get an idea of the kind of power the young boxer has. This division is bursting at the seams with worthwhile contenders. We'll be taking a look at that in a moment, so stay with us. Then, all Frank Martin wants is his rightful recognition. He's a rising lightweight contender, and Frank Martin knows the fight against Rivera has to deliver and bring him the opponents among whom he thinks he belongs. The Indianapolis native at 27 is now 17-0 despite coming into boxing later than most of his opponents. 12 of those wins came from knockouts. The lightweight division is certainly one of the most loaded cases in boxing, and if Martin wants the crack at the top dogs, he'll need to pass a few bigger tests. The Las Vegas Showdown did his options the world of good, as he was ranked 10th going into the fight, and he squared up against the number 2 Rivera. Ahead of the bout, Martin told the press he believes he's being overlooked, but he added that he was going to make up for all of that. He also said he believes that fights like the one against Rivera would help him to jump the curb. He just has to keep on doing what he's doing, and eventually everybody's eyes will be on him. Well, that was a little prophetic, because his win certainly raised the attention of the boxing world. Before the fight, Rivera emerged as the division's fastest rising up-and-comer. He sailed up the division ladder faster than Martin, who is older and hasn't had the same pro fight opportunities. Martin pushed for the bout, and he was lauded for accepting the matchup when it came. This signaled his clear intent to take his career to the next level. Now a look at the division and the contenders to come. Devin Haney reigns supreme as the undisputed champion in the division. Ryan Garcia at 24 and Gervonta Davis at 28 are close to the top, and they are two of boxing's most electrifying stars. Then there is also Shakur Stevenson, who recently moved up and joined the weight class. When he was asked whether he believes he is on the same level as the 4 fighters who are currently providing the lightning in the division, he said absolutely. He wouldn't have taken the fight against Rivera if he didn't think he was. The Rivera fight in the end put him exactly where he wanted to be. It is perhaps fitting that Martin is nicknamed the Ghost because he really haunted Rivera, while Rivera said before the fight that he does exactly what he's supposed to do in these kinds of fights, stepping into the ring, knocking the opponent out, and beating him in some crazy fashion. He just had to keep putting up the same performance against Martin. That didn't work out so well for him in the end. Now it is starting to look like a Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight is finally on the cards. For more about this, keep watching until the end of this video. Meanwhile, thousands have told Martin he would be eaten alive. This was after he called out Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. With the Rivera fight, Martin proved that he belonged among the top contenders in the division, and he wasn't shy to call the regular champ and the undisputed champ out. When he was asked who he would like to step into the ring with next, he immediately said Tank and Haney. In fact, he added any of the top guys. But fans weren't all that keen about his call-outs and dosed him with harsh reality checks when they started reacting. One fan posted on social media that he was flummoxed that every boxer seems to think Davis would be an easy fight. Another said outright that Martin wouldn't stand a chance against either fighter. Other fans went below the belt and said Martin was simply after the fights because he wanted a payday. Yet other fans wondered if Martin was scared of Shakur Stevenson because he hadn't called him out. And someone also mentioned that it would be safer for Martin not to call out Davis because the latter would eat him alive. And finally, Ryan Garcia is going all in on a fight against Gervonta Davis. So as you can see, fans are quick to point out that Martin has some yards to cover before he gets to the level of the top contenders. And both Haney and Davis could potentially face several opponents before Martin. As an example, a Ryan Garcia versus Tank fight is now starting to look like a reality for April 2023. This is the fight fans are longing for. It hasn't materialized, but it is now officially in the works, and the heated feud between the two and the lead up to the fight is pure magic for fans of both fighters. Garcia wants to be in top form when he faces Davis, so he has even canceled his January fight to concentrate on his preparation. This could indicate that the fight is almost a done deal. But on the 7th of January, Tank first has to reckon with Hector Luis Garcia, something most fans think he'll achieve without breaking a sweat. The lightweight division is set to be fireworks in 2023, and more than a couple of upsets could be on the cards. Remember to keep watching out for our contributions. And that's also how we like to end the video, folks. Remember to hit like, follow, and subscribe on your way out, and thanks for staying with us.